Welcome to the BirdTalk organized by the International Fellowship of Birdwatching Rotarians. My name is Krishna Manjapudi, and I'll be your host for this presentation. International Fellowship for Birdwatching Rotarians is an international association of Rotary members who enjoy birding. It was started in 1992. The talk today is arranged by IFBR as part of their series of talks on birds and birding. Previous talks have been about birding in India, birding in Egypt, birding in Australia, hawk migration in the United States, birding about the extinct dodo bird in Mauritius, and birding in Sweden. Among IFBR's activities during the annual convention of Rotary International, we arranged a bird watching event at the location. This talk is about the bird watching event that was arranged at the last international conference, which was held in Singapore in May this year. This talk will be presented by IFBR member Madhu Bishnu. Madhu will share her experience of her visit to birds of Rifle Range Nature Park in Singapore. Other participants of this birding event were IFBR President Dr. Dijkers, IFBR Board members Dr. Vijaya Bharat and Ms. Saville. In this presentation, you will see some of the photographs that they took at the event. A little bit about our presenter, Madhu. Madhu is a past president of the E-Club of Melbourne, District 9800 in Australia. She lives in Kolkata, India. She has been a member of IFBR since 2017 and has attended several field trips in Atlanta, Georgia, and Toronto, Australia, and this last one in Singapore. Madhu is an active Rotarian and a very supportive Rotarian. She is PHF +2, PHS, and a Bequest Society member +3. She's a keen birder and has contributed to an article in Rotarian magazine in 2021. Among her other hobbies, Madhu loves to travel. She enjoys photography, cooking, reading, and music. Some logistics for the talk today. This presentation is being recorded. It will be shared online along with several past presentations. I request that you mute your microphones during the presentation. Questions are welcome. You may ask questions online in the chat session or by unmuting your microphone. For folks who are online and not members of IFBR, if you are interested in birding and getting to know an eclectic group of international birders, I strongly recommend that you consider becoming a member. Please post your email online and we'll follow up with you. I'll also be posting a link in the chat session. These links will tell you a little bit more about our IFBR and also how to become a member. Time permitting, we'll have an opportunity to introduce yourselves and tell us about your birding interest at the end of the presentation. Over to you, Madhu.
Thank you so much, Krishna. Greetings, everyone. I'm really sorry for being late, but here it's been raining incessantly and there had been a network issue. So I would like to share about our experience. We had our president, Fred, we had our board member, Dr. Vijaya Bharat, and our board member, Sarah. So we had a wonderful time with Kenneth. And we did not go to the park that we were scheduled to go because that day the weather was not too good. And we actually went to a different park. Krishna, the next slide, please. So we went to, I think if the pronunciation is correct, it's Hindhede Nature Park. And this was not very far away from the metro station that we assembled in front of, and we just followed Kenneth, and he is a local person who has extensive knowledge on the birds, that both migratory and resident birds in Singapore. So he really shared in details. And because I was on, eBird trying to record what the species were with the calls and with the sightings, so I did not take lots of photos. I mean, out of all the photos that I had taken, only the Malayan Kalugu was the one which I really liked, but other photos of mine were not up to the mark. And that's the reason that Fred and Dr. Bharat photos I have shared. And Sarah, very kindly, she shared with us the group photo that she took amongst others, but I think she also had a problem with her camera. So I actually shared that group photo with all of you all. So the species that we found here, either through bird calls or through our sightings, were the kingfisher that was collared, the stork-billed, and the ornate sunbird, the Pacific swallow, Malaysian pied fantail, red jungle fowl, rock pigeon, spotted dove, pied imperial pigeon, plum-toed swift, white-bellied sea eagle, oriental dollar bird, lineated barbet, sunder pygmy, woodpecker, long-tailed parakeet, black-naped oriole, common iora, house crow, dark-necked tailorbird, rufous-tailed tailorbird, Pacific swallow, the straw-headed bulbul, and there were many more. But I would say out of this field trip of ours, I would say the Malayan Kalugu was a highlight to me because I had never ever seen that. And so I really enjoyed sighting that. But of course, these birds were equally exciting when either we saw them or we heard their calls. The next slide, please. So this was the group of ours. And we have the first photograph shows where the area is. So Kenneth is actually letting us know that, the whole area. And of course, it was a very big area where people, they do their regular morning exercises and, sorry. And also there is a huge waterbed. So as you can see the photographs, then there are small hills at the backdrop. And so we were the group. So our group was, we had a friend of Fred, and then we also had an American couple, and they were there in Melbourne too, but I've forgotten their name. I'm sorry about that. But they are a member of our fellowship also. So this was the place where we went, and it was really a beautiful place. I mean, though it was cloudy and, it was sunny for the moment, but we really enjoyed the whole area. So as you can see from the second photo that Kenneth is actually showing us that where the bird that he was talking about at that point of time, where it could be. And then, because the sun became a little bit strong, so we were just under the shade and all of us were resting a tiny bit because we had walked quite a bit. And so we were just looking at our phones and, at our cameras while just taking a little bit of rest. And then you see the waterbed area where here we sighted the kingfisher, the two kingfisher. And in fact, Dr. Bharat really took a wonderful photo of that. And here is the photo adjacent to that, shows the sightings that could be seen in that area. And of course, what's special about that area. So, that was what it was. And again, this, the last photo on the right is what Fred had taken. So, this was our group. The next slide, please. So this is our total group. I mean, if anybody could say that next to Fred, this American couple, if if y'all can say the name, it'll be great. But I know they are members of our fellowship, and they were there in Australia. And Dr. Bharat's husband was there, but he was resting in a different area. So that's the reason, he's not here. But Dr. Vijaya Bharat is there. And then we have Kenneth, we have Sarah, myself a little bit in the front. And then this couple, they were from US too. So the woman originally is from Kenya and settled in US. So I've forgotten their name also. I'm really sorry about that these two American couples, I've forgotten their name. And next to that lady is Fred's friend. So this was our total group. And that's the photo. The next slide, please. Okay, so this is that beautiful photo of Dr. Vijaya Bharat of the stork-billed kingfisher. And so this was so stork-billed kingfisher is found in the Asian countries. I mean, in fact, we get to see in India too. So I would not say that this is an uncommon sighting, but it is quite common, found in some of the Southeast Asian countries and the Indian subcontinent. The next slide, please. This was the on-it sunbird. I think this is a beautiful photo taken by Dr. Bharat. And for me, this was the first time that I sighted the bird, but it was truly a beautiful bird that we got to see. And I just really, really liked the photo clicked by her. The next slide, please. This is the jungle fowl. So I think I should have written here jungle fowl. So that's my mistake. But yes, so this was the red jungle fowl that we saw. And again, this is also seen in the Indian subcontinent also. But it was something that was there just for a very short moment. And Dr. Bharat really took a beautiful photo of it. The next slide, please. And this is the swallow. Dr. Bharat, would you like to say about the swallows?
Yeah, this is the Pacific swallow.
Yeah.
Pacific swallow. We saw quite a lot in many places. This particular photograph was taken in the Botanic Garden where they were in plenty.
Yes, yes. And so I think, with the little bit of the raindrops on them, this really looks a beautiful photo of hers. And so the next slide, please. This was, Dr. Bharat, would you like to go ahead and say?
Yeah, this is a Malayan pied fantail. This also I saw in the botanical gardens. We also saw them during the bird walk, but it was in the clutter of leaves. But this particular photograph came out well, and I'm not able to share a picture of the fantail spreading out. It was quite amazing, very fascinating. And I loved going around on the bird walk this time.
Yeah. We truly enjoyed that. The next slide, please. And this one was the zebra dove. So this photo has been clicked by Dr. Bharat and by Fred, and both of their photos are really beautiful. So this is, again, for the first time, it's my sighting, because we do get to see quite a few kinds of doves here in India, but the zebra dove I had not seen before. So this was something, both of them clicked on when the dove was on the ground. And I truly think both their photographs were really beautiful. Next slide, please. Now we come to the slides clicked by Fred. So this is, again, the zebra dove. And this is something I truly like. Especially the gray color with the green backdrop. It really looks very beautiful. And this is something I really enjoyed seeing here. The next slide, please. This is the Malayan Kalugu. So the Malayan Kalugu is a nocturnal mammal, and this actually glides from one tree to another tree. And they feed on, so they are herbivorous, and they feed on grass or leaves. That's what they feed on. And because they are nocturnal, what Kenneth, our bird guide, what he pointed out is, this park is not accessible to the general public in the evening. So, you know, they can really be very, very active in the evening and in the night. But, you know, they are always in the daytime when we sighted them, they are always in a very sleepy look. And, you know, they just don't move. I mean, we hardly saw them moving, but we saw one baby and we saw a mother also. And it was like, you know, you just have to wait for hours and hours for it to glide just even 1 centimeter. So that was the kind of thing. And Kenneth, our bird guide, was very excited. In fact, he had already informed another person who lives there in the park to say that if, we are able to sight them. And I just found out later on that they are also found in Malaysia, but I have not seen them in India. And I really do not know whether we can sight these nocturnal mammals in India. But this was something very exciting for me. And I would say this was my highlight from the field trip that we did in Singapore this year. The next slide, please. Fred, would you like to mention?
Yes, it's Yevon Myna.
Yeah, so this was the Myna, and so this was, I think, especially the first photo. It's really very well taken by you, Fred, and it's just highlights its eyes and the beak, and it's really a wonderful photo of yours. So this was something that, he could take, and of course I could not click with my camera. The next slide, please. Okay, so all these 4 photos has been clicked by me. And so I actually, in the first photo, it mentions, because Kenneth had taken us to the place where, a little bit of description on the Malayan Kalugu is there. So, that's my first photo. And as I described, it feeds on grass and leaves, and it glides from one tree to another, and it's a nocturnal mammal. The second photo is actually a baby. And so that was one, but sadly, there was a twig in front. So, I could not take the full face. I mean, I would have ideally wanted that the twig be not there, but unfortunately it was there. And the other 2 photos is of the same one, but slightly from a different angle. And so this one is the mother. And usually their babies are at the tail end. Not like the kangaroo, but they have their babies right at the tail end. And so that's what Kenneth had pointed out to us. So this is in brief about our field trip. And I can definitely say all of us enjoyed the trip a lot. And Kenneth did mention that, anytime any of the Rotarians that we know would like to visit Singapore and would like to do birding, we can refer him, and he'll be happy to take around. And we were definitely very happy with whatever call and whatever sightings we could see. It was for about, in spite of us not being able to reach on time, some of us, and still we spent about 3 to 4 hours. And so we really had a wonderful time, followed by a very local lunch. And that was a great area where we could just select the local food there, and we had our lunch together. So that was what this whole field trip was about. And I'm happy to take questions if any of you all have one. And thank you, Krishna, once again, for helping to have the slides on.
Not a problem. Beautiful presentation with the birds. Certainly, I have a question. I can lead with that. So I saw the body of water, but I did
Yes.
not see any water birds in your sightings.
No. We couldn't sight any water birds.
Okay. What are the common water birds there? Do you know?
Fred or Dr. Bharat, did Kenneth mention about any kind of ducks or any of those water birds?
I can't remember. He told something about the water birds. There were well, in that park we saw well a big place with water, but no water birds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Maybe it was the rain or something that discouraged them from
Could
coming out.
be, yeah. Sure, it could be that reason. But we did not sight anything that was on the water.
Okay. The other thing that that seems to be missing are little common birds that you see on mainland, like India. This is an island, I believe, right? Singapore is an island,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes, that's right. Yes.
I'm not wrong. So things like sparrows and ordinary birds that
So we did see crow,
Mhm.
but the thing is this, which was again very interesting. So it was a house crow. It was not the jungle crow, because here in India we get to see both the house crow and the jungle crow.
Mhm.
But we did not see any cuckoo. We did not see any. So we did not see any sparrows. No, we did not see those.
Yeah. So the closest it came to that is from the picture that Fred took of the myna.
Right.
But even that myna looks very different from the brown.
Yes, the Malayan one. Yes.
Yeah, the brown one that we see in India.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes. So we have the pied myna here in India, and then we have the common myna. And the common myna is also found in Australia. In fact, the Australians, they say that, since it's come from India, it's been more of a pain because, it spread so much.
Yes.
But no, we did not see those in Singapore.
Cool. Anybody else have any questions? Fred, do you want to add any more comments about your experience?
Well, the experience it was very exciting to have this size of the group, and it was good to help each other to see the birds, and sometimes the birds were further away there. That's the reason that we couldn't take all the birds we saw on a good picture.
Mm-hmm.
Because you want the pictures to show that they are sharp, and that's not so easy on a big distance. But well, it was an exciting and an excellent morning, and I was happy to be part of the excursion.
Fantastic. Any comments from you? Sorry.
Two copies. The Madhu didn't know the names, but I can see the names in my list with the mail from the people who were there, the two couples from the USA.
Okay, who were they? You want to check them?
Yeah, it'll be really helpful because, I'm really sorry that I forgot their names, but yeah, the two couples were from US, and especially one couple, standing next to Fred, they were there in Melbourne. And, but the other couple who was next to Fred's friend, I had not seen them before. So I don't know which part of US they are from.
Okay. All right. Well, you got the bird names, so which is important. That's fantastic. Yeah.
Krishna, but maybe Sarah was also in the group. Maybe she had some. We don't see her now, but we can hear her, I suppose. And I don't know what her experience was.
Yeah, certainly.
I'm here. I'm just in my car, so yeah, it was great. This was my first bird trip with the IFBR. I really enjoyed it. I'm sorry the weather was what it was, but we were able to hear some of the bird songs we heard were just as exciting as actually getting to see the birds, I thought. And I agree with Madhu that the Kaluga was really exciting. That's not like anything we have in North America.
Yeah. So one of the other comments I had is that some of you folks shared your pictures and were a little less stringent about culling them. So, but it was still nice to see them. I know that Sarah posted a lot of them on Facebook. So it'd be fantastic if you could share them on IFBR website. Again, we are not very discriminating in that way. So basically, we won't critique the photo, but we'd love to see the pictures and enjoy the pictures. So if you could please post them on our IFBR Facebook, that will be fantastic. Okay. Vijaya, do you have any comments about your experience? Are you there?
Yeah, this is the first time I went for a bird walk after a convention, and I really enjoyed the camaraderie with which we walked around and identified the birds. It was a great experience, and we have the related species of the birds that we saw in Singapore, in India as well. But the idea was to recognize the differences and understand more about the local birds. I enjoyed the whole trip of bird watching. Thank you very much. Thanks to everyone who are part of the group.
Yeah, and the same goes for you too, Vijaya. If you have pictures that you culled out because you thought they were not presentable, please don't do that. Or let me say, please feel free to post them on Facebook, and it'll be nice to see them there.
Okay, then I'll definitely share.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, we still have a little bit of time, so
one comment, Krishna.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, it was not reacting so fast. It was not only good to see the birds, but it's also good to see all the birding people. The members, we see them during the year only on Zoom, and it's nice to meet them in reality. So it's important, this excursion, not only for the birds, but also for the people.
Indeed. Yeah. So with extending on that comment, the next bird walk, if I may say so, is going to be in Calgary. And that's going to be the convention is between the 21st and 25th. And generally we have the bird walk on the last day of the convention. So somewhere around the 25th, the plans are being worked out. We'll let you know. So to Fred's point, I think we should all flock together after the convention and have our own little bird chat in person.
Krishna, if I could
agree.
just modify a little bit what you said. You said the last day of the convention. It's really the day after the convention. Just
Thursday.
to be sure. So everybody plan to stay at least the day after.
Of course, absolutely.
Thank you. So that's basically what it is. So now that we again have a little bit of extra time, I'd like to go around and have you folks introduce yourselves again, if you will. Most of us are members. So with that in mind, I will start with folks who are not members, if you may. So I look at, or at least who are not on the board. So I see Anne Sands. Anne, if you can unmute and talk to us and tell us a little bit about your interest in birding, and also a comment about that bird in the background. Looks very pretty.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm from California. I live in Marin County, which is right on the coast. I live north of the Golden Gate Bridge near Point Reyes National Seashore. And it is the best place for migratory birds going up and down the Pacific coast. if you ever come to California, let me know, and I can hook you up with some great birders and guides for the San Francisco Bay Area. And the bird behind me, let me get out of the way a little bit here, is the purple honey creeper. And that was a shot taken in Trinidad on a birding expedition I went on about 3 years ago. And it was in the forest, a coffee plantation that is on the island of Trinidad and in the hills. And it's a sustainable operation. It's actually the Asa Wright Nature Center. And if you ever go to Trinidad, be sure to stay there. ASAWRIGHT, Asa Wright Nature Center. It was an old plantation that was purchased by naturalists and turned into a bird sanctuary. And they have overnight stays and cottages and trips, and it's an amazing, amazing place. So I started bird watching when I was about 12, and my mother was a bird watcher, and I continue to do that. So it's whenever I travel, I hook up with local Rotary clubs and go bird watching.
Yes. And I assume you're a member of IFBR.
Yes, I am. I get your emails. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. There was another person who dropped out. So let's go around in the order that I see on my screen. Peter, you're next. If you would please talk a little bit about yourself and your interest in birding.
Yes, hello. My name is Peter, and I'm a Rotarian in the Netherlands. The Netherlands is really a crowded country, but still we have a lot of birds going on. Not really in this time of the year, because it's, to be honest, it's a bit dull time, because the birds are not as active as they are earlier in the year. But still, you can see about 300 species in this small country in the nature that we have. And my favorite bird is the ordinary kingfisher. It's not ordinary, because I think it's very, very special, and it's also special in our country, and it gives a very special feeling when you see one. We sometimes also see the bird that you can see with Eva, the spoonbill.
Mm-hmm.
I used to live in a place where where there were a lot of spoonbills in the lake next to it, and then the fox came and all the spoonbills disappeared. So this is what happens with birds. So when you have a very special bird like the spoonbill, and you see them every day, it's just another spoonbill. but once they are gone and you see a spoonbill, it's very special, and that is what I like very much about birding and bird watching. Sometimes people think that I like to go to the zoo to watch birds. That's not true. I like the zoo, but I'm not bird watching in the zoo. I like bird watching in combination with nature and with the time of the year, and all the stories you get. And now I'm talking. I want to say to you, Krishna, that I appreciate very much the way you're organizing this bird talks, and I hope that we can all together manage that we get a few more people looking and listening at it, because it's my experience that it's very interesting. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter. I'll look for your help to kind of get the word out some more. You are my social media guy. Okay. Thank you. Eva, would you please unmute and tell us a little bit about yourself and that bird in the background?
Thank you. The bird in the background is, as you say, a spoonbill. And this is from Spain, but I'm from Sweden, and my husband Björn is also joining here. We have a place in Spain where we stay during the winter. But during the summertime, we are in Stockholm now. You can also see a lot of birds. Today we went out and saw an owl. It's just, we live in the middle of Stockholm, but we can just walk 10 minutes from here. And there is a forest, and we have a special little cat owl. Maybe it's it's an owl. and they're not seen very often. But we know where it is, so we go and say hello as soon as we come back home. And it's very nice. And then we stay also during the summertime in Sweden. We stay south of Sweden in Öland, and when we will see some of you during a bird trip that is coming up now at beginning of September. That will be very nice. We will be in Scania and then in Öland, and we will have a presentation from this trip later on. So I hope that we will have a good weather, because during September it's migration time, and I'm sure we will see a lot of birds. We see a lot of birds around here in Stockholm during migration. Öland is one of our favorite places, and because they just leave Sweden for flying over to the rest of Europe and further down, so it's fantastic. So I hope we will see a lot of birds there, and that we will come back to that later on. And I'm a member of Stockholm Saville Rotary Club since 25 years, a member of a board of the IFBR.
Beautiful. Thank you. And just for the benefit of Anne, because most of us know about this, Eva has organized a trip to Sweden. They're leaving in a couple of weeks from now. And we hope that we'll have many more trips like that. So look out for those. And you seem to indicate that you like to travel for bird watching and for Rotary. So here's an opportunity.
It's fully booked this year, so but hopefully there will be more trips to come, also in India or some other places.
Certainly. Thank you. So Fred, you're next.
Thank you, Krishna. Well, I'm just an amateur birder. I like birding. I enjoy birding, but well, most people ask me what bird did you see and what's the name of that bird, and then I have to ask my children, because it's not my job to know all the birds, and still I enjoy the birding. And I enjoy the organizing of birding activities. And we have here in my village, we have organized a new birding path, and it will be opened in October, and that kind of things. That's my hobby.
Fantastic.
So it's all birding related.
That's fantastic. And just for the record, Fred is our fearless leader. He's the president of IFBR. Thank you, Fred. And thank you for all your work with enhancing the life of birds.
Thank you.
There is a person here online that I missed. It says iPhone Diana. So would you please unmute and tell us a little bit about yourself and your interest in birds? If you're still there.
Yes, hello, this is Anna. I belong to IFBR, but unfortunately, I never been able to join the trips, neither the conference. So today is my really first time to join you. And I'm interested in birds, but I don't know anything, but I would like to. So this is the reason why I apply for IFBR, and I'm open to learn a lot about birds. Hopefully, I can travel to Calgary for the new conference, and then I can join you. I live in Spain, and I've been in contact with Eva from Sweden because I was the only person apparently I'm the only person in Spain that has applied for IFBR, and she contacted me once by email, and we are in Spain, sometimes close to each other, not very close, but maybe 2 hours driving from each other, but we hadn't had the opportunity to meet. In that area, there is Doñana Park, natural park. There is plenty of flamingos. It's very beautiful. Recently, I've been watching some birds in this area with a guide, but really, I only recently has feel the interest in birds. So I'm completely ignorant about it, but I would like to learn. And in the first week of September, I'm planning with some friends to go to the Basque Country. And there is an area that they call it Urdaibai, that is UNESCO area for biosphere. And well, I'm going to try to learn something about there, and we'll see if I can add my experience to yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Anna, it's so nice to see you.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and we went to Doñana 2 years ago, and it's fantastic.
Oh,
yeah,
yes, it is.
So it is really
But,
nice in Gibraltar.
Yes, yeah. So maybe when I know a little more about birds, I can propose you some trip to Spain and to those areas.
Would be wonderful.
But
Yeah,
today is too early. I cannot take the compromise.
Okay. Nice seeing you.
Yeah.
And welcome.
Me too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Anna. Nothing to feel defensive about. Some of us are rank amateurs, just like yourself. We sometimes fake it out and sound like experts, but we are not. So don't worry, you're in good company. The smartphones and books help a lot. And of course, just going out and being with birds and watching them is a great experience. And there are so many different species that it's probably impossible for most people to understand all the different kinds of species that they see. So don't worry, you're in good company. Just keep that spirit alive and enjoy whatever you see. And that's really what
Okay.
Thank
you very much, Christina.
Thank you. All right, I have Judy up next.
All right.
I'm Judy Gann. Oh, Judy or Julie?
Sorry.
Judy Glenn.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm Judy Gann. I live near Seattle in a suburb. I also know very little about birds. Mostly I watch the few little birds who come to my bird feeder on my deck. I can tell a crow from a junco, but not a lot of the others I can't tell apart at all. But I'm enjoying the birds, and when I was in my house, the bird feeder was pretty far from an open window, but here it's very close and I can hear the birds singing. It's really lovely. Great. Oh, and I've been on a few of the walks. I went in Los Angeles, in Atlanta, in Seoul, and Australia. I think those are the only ones I've been on.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for all that you do on the IFBR board. I have Julie coming up, birthday girl. Julie, are you there?
Good to be here. Good to see everybody. Sorry I missed Melbourne. Sounds like it was a great bird walk. Anyhow, I grew up just knowing we spent our family did camping, a lot of time outdoors. So I knew all the common birds. But then in the late 80s, through my partner, discovered warblers. And that got us both hooked. And ever since then, I've been an avid birder. Been able to, I've attended a lot of the Rotary International Conventions, and I always go on the bird walk afterwards. It's, no matter where we are, it's always a great experience, both with the people and learning and seeing the birds of that particular area. I also, I lead bird walks here a couple of times, twice a month during, at our local nature center. and there's a couple other birding events that I participate in. One is the Great Backyard Bird Count, which is it's pretty, yeah, it's cool. I mean, that particular event, and I think people do it all over the world. The idea is over one weekend, which they is usually it's here. It's called President's Weekend. It's like the second or third weekend in February, and the idea is just to record how many birds you see or hear, different species, like in your backyard, or wherever you happen to be that day if you're out in a park, and these all get posted. So that's kind of a cool thing. And then there's another thing called the Big Day, or the Big Sit, really. And that's always the second weekend in October. A group of us usually do it on Sunday. And that is where you basically stay in one area. They call it a circle. And I think this is going to be in feet. I think it's 17 feet diameter. So it's a very limited area. And the idea is to stay there, in theory, for 24 hours. A group of you could certainly hand it off and record all the bird species you see and hear. And there's a little competition here because, again, these get posted. You can sign up your site and then post what you're seeing and how many, totally how many you see and hear. And they're doing this all over the world, and they kind of update that daily, not hourly, as you're going around, and as you're going through and see what's happening, what people are seeing and how much they're seeing other places. Where I do it at the Nature Center, and we go pre-dawn to post sunsets. We don't do it 24 hours. We did earlier on when I was younger. We did 24 hours, but not anymore. Not too much going on in the night, the night. The other thing I'll mention is, so those are cool things that you can do right from home if you want, and be involved. Get some people together in your yard or your nature center or wherever, and do them. Let's see. The other thing I was going to mention is in the late 90s, I in addition to getting fascinated with birds, I decided I wanted to do some research related to birds. So since the late 90s, I got some training in bird banding, and I've been running a banding bird research station since 2001 at, again, the same local nature center, and we do spring and fall migration. So that's been another great way to get to learn the birds. And if you have those types of things going on in your area, often you can go and observe, and that's that's another way to get connected or learn about birds. And the last thing I'll say is IFBR, I think, is a fantastic organization. I can't tell you how long I've been in it. It's been at least since 2013. Served as president for several years. And it's great people. I mean, great friends all over the world, and great experiences. So thank you all for being a part of IFBR.
Yep. Thank you, Julie. Yeah, she's a long-standing member of IFBR and a very active member on the board. And as she mentioned, she was the president for almost all the time that I have been on the board. And that takes a lot. And thank you for your service. Fantastic. So I'd like to move on to Sarah. Did we already go with Sarah or? Oh, okay. Sarah, you're up. You there?
I'm here.
Okay.
Sure. I was a biology major in college many years ago, and as part of that, took an ornithology class, and that's when I first was exposed to birding. We had done some outside stuff, but wasn't as knowledgeable as I could have been in that area, and I've kept it up as a hobby since. And I'm in Yorktown, Virginia, and a past president of my club here.
Thank you. Yeah, and keep coming to those conventions. I hope to be at the next one, and we can flock together there. All right. Madhu, are you still there?
Yes, I'm very much here. And I mean, Krishna, you've given all my introduction, so I really don't have anything extra to add to that. But yes, I am absolutely an active birder and enjoy my bird here in India. I would truly invite all of you all to come and visit India. We have some plans, and we are going to have a discussion on that during the board meeting. But it would be truly great if, ideally it would be like all of you, but definitely some of you come and see the migration. And this is going to be northeast part of India, which, one of the state that we would be going to shares the same border with China. And it's just an exquisite place that we have, where you can really see a wonderful migration of the birds. So yeah, that's going to be my invitation. But other than that, I truly enjoy being a part of this fellowship, and I'm a member of several fellowships. So, this is one of them, and I'm just happy to be amongst all of you all. And thank you all so much for enjoying the presentation, though, of course, I did not do a good job, but thank you so much for enjoying it. Thank you.
Thank you, Madhu. Nothing to apologize. You did a great job. And I think you're more stringent on yourself than you need to be. So, put your hand up in the air, like I tell my students, and then pat yourself on the back. So, good job. And finally, my name is Krishna Manjapudi. I live in the northeast part of the United States, about 40 miles north of Boston in New Hampshire. And I'm an amateur birder. And as most of you know, my excitement is about the birds of prey, hawks and so on. So that's really, it's amazing to see them drifting and flying to the distances that they do. I'm an engineer by training. So anything that takes off from the ground amazes me that it can actually do that and fly as far as they can. So a couple of little things. I started at IFBR when they had the event in Atlanta. And then I joined the Birdwalk there and also in Toronto. I'm looking forward to being a part of it in Calgary next year. A few months back, I was traveling to Baltimore. So most of the time that I travel like that, I look at eBirds to see what new birds are around in that area. And I was fortunate enough to see a pink spoonbill. I had to travel for about 45 minutes to get to the water body that the bird was in. It was probably half a kilometer away, but there were people there, and birders are wonderful people. So basically, they shared their equipment, and I was able to see a pink spoonbill, which is a rare sighting that far up north. And then most recently, last year, I also had an opportunity for the first time ever, Julie, to be part of a bird banding. So this was for suet owls. And so late in the evening at dusk, we spread out some nests and we were able to snag some suet owls. So fantastic, so beautiful to touch them. And there is a certain feeling when you touch them and do, and do what you do and let them go. There was also one barred owl in that net that also got banded. So birding has been part of my life almost all along. I grew up close to a bird sanctuary. And one last thing that I'll say is that I'm planning on being in India between September and November, and again in February and March next year. So one of those days, Madhu and Vijaya, I hope to see you folks and do some birding in person. So finally, thank you, Madhu, for the beautiful presentation. And like I said, I think you're being a little more harsh and critical about yourself. You did a fantastic job. We hope to see more presentations from you in future and from other people. And thank you all for joining. Have a good day.